Hi there, I'm Aki from Aki Gaming and welcome to another episode on Fire Emblem Heroes Spotlight. In this episode, we will be looking at one of the newer heroes from Grand Hero Battle, Clarisse, Sniper in the Dark. A cruel and sadistic sniper, brought up by her foster parents Aramia. She was hinted to be from a noble family. Her basic stats total is 147, and by equipping her best weapon, her total rating will be at 158. Clarisse has very high speed at 34 and followed by her attack at 31. She uses a bow with her name on it, Clarisse Bow. It has the ability to inflict a -5 attack and speed on foes within 2 spaces of target through their next actions. It's a skill similar to Dark Breath. This ability weakens the surrounding foes and gives a better chance for your ally to take them down with ease. Clarisse has Glimmer as her special. It grants 50% to damage dealt with a trigger count of 3. It's good for units with high firepower, which in her case, unlikely. Her passive skill in slot B is Poison Strike, a skill that inflicts 10 damage to foe after any combat she initiates. However, foes' HP could never go below 1. This is a very good skill to harass or chip away enemies' HP, especially if their defense is too high to be penetrated. As for her passive C, she has Threatened Defense that inflicts a -5 defense penalty on foes within 2 spaces through their next action at the start of each turn. A good skill that increases not only Clarisse but also allies' physical damage by reducing enemies' defense. In terms of Clarisse's weakness, it will be her defensive stats, especially mages with Raven Tome could be a serious threat to her survival. So do avoid Neil Robin, Cecilia and Henry at all costs. And that's the end for her introduction. Next, let's have a look at the recommended build for Clarisse. Since her speed is considerably high, I would suggest to replace her weapon with Fire Sweep Bow, a weapon that disables foe and herself from counter-attacking. In other words, this weapon would turn all ranged units into melees. Not only that, heroes with all range counter would also be rendered useless in front of her weapon's ability. Next, her assist skill. It is highly recommended to give her drawback so she could move an adjacent ally 1 space out of enemy's reach. For her special, I would recommend giving her Moonbow that resolves combat as if foes suffered a -30% on defense or resistance with a trigger count of 2. As an alternative, you could go for Luna for the extra damage. Now let's look at her passives. For slot A, it's best to give her Life and Death, a passive that grants her a +5 on attack and speed, but -5 on defense and resistance in return. This skill not only will boost her attack stats even higher, it also increases her chance to make a follow-up attack. As for her defensive penalties, it won't make a difference since enemy could not counter her in the first place. How about passive B? Since counter-attack is out of the picture, skills such as Quick Repose, Vantage, Desperation could be thrown out of the window. So what's left are Seals, Warps, and Breakers. To be very honest to you, her slot B could be anything, but I will go for Sword Breaker because of the amount of swordsmen roaming around. And not only that, most of the popular swordsmen has very high speed, which Clarisse will find it difficult to double. But with this skill, she could even take down the likes of Lucina and Ryoma without taking any damage. As for her slot C, we will keep her default skill, which is Threatened Defense. Lastly, to make this build really works, it is recommended to give her Quicken Pulse Seal to reduce the cooldown for her special. And with this build, Clarisse gets to take down 89 heroes, draws 57, and lost 0 without Threatened Defense taking effect. And with the -5 defense on foes, she gets 117 wins, 29 draws, and 0 losses. Furthermore, if she gets an attack buff, she will win 127, draws 19, and lost 0. Impressive. And do take note that the above mentioned results happen in a single turn of combat. Final thoughts? Being the first archer introduced in the Grand Hero Battle, Clarisse takes a refreshing stand on the use of archers. She might not be the strongest or the fastest, but her overall stats distribution makes her a unit that worth paying attention to. So, what's your thought on Clarisse? Are you planning to promote her to 5-star? Let's discuss. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Aki Gaming for more interesting content. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.